Welcome back to Braxperiment, the Braxperiment, or Brax Builds, not sure yet. But this is installment number 2 on my 1966 Scout 80. Last episode, we pulled out the engine, cleaned up a few things in the engine bay, got the brake booster in. But now I want to get this thing back on its own four wheels, so I need to put the new axles in, which are these Dana 44s out of a uh, Wrangler JK Rubicon. So it's a Dana 44. It has the 410 gear ratio front and rear with e-lockers. Um, and the rear 44 is considered the Super 44 because it has a, let's see, the rear Dana 44 is considered the Super 44 because it has the high pinion. The front also has a high pinion, so they may consider both of them. Anyways, so I'm going to be modifying the bracketry on the axle and creating new mounts and brackets for the frame side, obviously because this was originally leaf springs. So going to be strengthening the frame, creating new mounts and brackets, and then setting up all the geometry. So here in Illustrator, I've just drawn up a little kind of demonstration on what my plan is. The front, so this is the front of the chassis. I'm going to put in this brace here at the front to keep this whole front end from twisting and flexing when I'm steering. This is right where the steering box will mount on the outside of the frame. That'll be coming in the next episode. But for this one, the first steps I want to get done are getting the front mounts all set in place, starting with the front upper control arms, this mount you see here. So to do that, I've cleaned up the frame rails, or I'm going to clean up the frame rails on the inside of both of these in the front until about the middle of the frame. Then I'm going to mess with the rear. But for now, I'm going to get the front lowers and the front uppers done. To get that done, I'm going to sand all or grind all of this back to bare metal and then actually plate the entire inside with some 3/16 steel. It'll have some holes drilled in it so that I can weld also in the middle of the frame as well as the edges to make that as strong as possible. I'll plan on also plating the outside of the frame like you see here, but I want to wait until I get my steering box and my shock hoops and bump stops and everything put in place, and then I'll know exactly where I can plate around those items. And I want to do some cool laser cut pattern or the international logo along the straight portion here, something like that. But I'm going to wait until I get most of the other stuff in, including the rock sliders, because those are going to mount to this, or I may weld those onto the plate once it's plated in, but I want to know exactly where it's going to mount so I can design around it. You'll see here in the middle, this green portion, I just wanted to highlight that because this is an X brace that I'll be building once I have the mounts in place. So these may not look super strong when I'm putting them in at the first. Even though they're 1/4-inch steel, they're not like properly braced to handle any force coming in this direction. And that's because I'm going to build this X brace, which is also going to incorporate the either the transmission mount or the transfer case mount. But until I have the powertrain in there, I'm not going to know where I can set this up. This probably can't be straight like this. It's probably going to have to come down at an angle, and I may actually kind of like cross brace all four mounts. Well, it'll be all 8 front, 4 rear, but that's the plan, at least for these top ones. These lower ones will definitely be more secure than the uppers because these will tie into the frame from multiple directions. So keep that in mind that this isn't going to be the finished product as far as how you're going to see it in this episode and the following episode. So there will be a cool X brace built in here. I'll also add bracing in the rear. I just need to get my fuel cell in, figure out where the shock hoops are going to go before I can decide on that. I don't want to add something and then just have to cut it out later. So let's jump into cleaning this up, plating it. We're going to add this cross member, and then we'll start mocking up our front links, which is then going to tell me where I'm going to put my mounts.